Minecraft 1.20 is missing some important features. Whether it's sneaking under 1.5 blocks or a bundle to gather your rocks, the truth is there are all sorts of features you are probably sure were in this update, but actually have not made it in. And so we won't be discussing anything that was in the trailer, but not in the finished update, because thankfully 1.20 doesn't have those. And we also won't be discussing the bugs that have come with this update, because those will be fixed shortly. Instead, I'll be discussing the major features that you probably expected, but yet, as of the release of the update, have still yet to be corrected. This is going to be split into three major categories. The first is major features you've probably actually seen in 1.20 snapshots and betas, but they didn't make it into the final version. The second is things that everyone was sure were just around the corner based on Mojang's previous behavior, but for some reason were skipped in this update. And the third is honestly personal gripes, things they really could have added without too much additional effort that would have massively improved 1.20. So with that said, everything today is coming in threes, and let's start with the first one, please, because this is short sneaking, an incredibly cool Minecraft feature for Bedrock players. For Java players, you're probably confused about how Bedrock players don't have this already, but as of 1.20 betas, in fact, I'm playing a 1.20 beta right now, you'll be able to sneak underneath these. However, despite this being a 1.20.10 beta, it's not a 1.20 feature, and it's not even a 1.20.10 feature, and the exact same thing also applies for the ability to crawl in Minecraft. Here's something incredible you might not have seen. After, if you have short sneaking enabled, you'll also have the ability to crawl in Minecraft be enabled. This is basically swimming, but on land and accessible via trapdoors and all sorts of other things. It's a very bizarre thing you can sort of do in Minecraft right now, but there'll be more trigger points, and both of these features exist on Java, but they will be coming over to Bedrock in a future update. Why did they not come as part of 1.20 if they were meant to be here? The simple answer to that is that both of these features are behind the short sneaking toggle, and they clearly need some work. They're not intended for a major update. They're intended for some minor update, in the same way Spectator came out in this update on screen that I genuinely forgot the name of, but it's a lot of numbers. In the same way that happened, I imagine this will come out in 1.20.30 or something along those lines. Whenever it's finished, they can roll it out. The same is not true for the bundle, however. You're gonna have to imagine I have a bundle in my hand, and instead, I just have a bunch of stuff in my inventory. The reason for this not making it into 1.20 is because it was never actually intended to be there. It's just that since the Minecraft developers worked on the bundle, and it was a feature which came from earlier snapshots, they made it when you go into snapshots, unlike betas where you just hit a toggle, there are resource packs you enable which basically allow the snapshot functionality to work, and there was a separate snapshot functionality for the bundle. This was implied to mean that they were going to move it into the 1.21, but they never did, and so even now, I forgot about that build from the 20 builds. It looks beautiful, doesn't it, by the way? My happy little pyramid over there. Yeah, this is one of the best Minecraft worlds. There's just no refuting it, just like how there's no disputing the fact that the bundle won't be coming in 1.20, and it's unlikely to be coming in 1.21 either. It seems to be the first of Mojang's kind of grey list features where they've developed them, but they don't think they fit in the game yet, and so they won't be adding them, except if you're a Java player where you can sort of play it in snapshots whenever you like. Speaking of snapshots, if you played betas, you might know another parity feature from Java Bedrock was the ability to have boats be crafted something like this. If you place boats 5 in a row like this, you should get a bamboo raft. This is something you can do in the betas and previews, but if you try it in 1.20, it doesn't work because this is a 1.20.10 feature. There are lots of minor changes coming in 1.20.10, but it is worth mentioning that unlike previous updates where it was fairly small things, 1.20.10 will actually host quite a few fairly significant changes to existing features, something that you should keep in mind. Did you know, by the way, these used to all be pot shards, custom pots made off them, and these used to be the shards, but they don't exist there anymore. Instead, you get an item that's just called blank. Did you see that? It is the blank item. Why is that happening? I don't know. Weird things about betas. Betas are not final releases, even though 95% of features that go in a beta or snapshot end up in the final release. They don't always end up there immediately, and even when they do end up there, they might end up there in a later update, like 1.20.10 or 1.20.30, or God knows where they'll go. Speaking of God knows where they'll go, let's take the Wandering Trader with us to a cherry forest, because Wandering Traders very much can come out to the Cherry Grove biome, as you can see by my very large number here. However, not a single one of them will sell you the leaves that they find here, or more specifically, the saplings that they find here. Sure, these traders will be very happy to sell you every other sapling type that exists in Minecraft, including the much rarer ones, and honestly, the ones you might find to be much more important, but they, look at this, they even find you a mangrove propagule if you want one of those types of trees, but if you want a cherry tree, finding it from a villager is impossible. So while looking this one up, because I was so sure this was a feature that I was just missing, that they forgot to put on the changelog for some reason, because it doesn't show up anywhere on the Bedrock changelog, and I thought, well, maybe they added it and they just didn't, and as you can see right here, I've yet to see anyone get one of these trades, and as far as I can tell, it's not in the game. Well, it's actually something they added to an experimental snapshot early on in the Java edition, 23W07A, but they never got around to adding it to Bedrock. It's one of those features that seems like a no-brainer. If you're going to add the cherry grove to the game, a brand new type of tree and sapling, you should also definitely add an ability for people to get that sapling from the guy who sells people saplings. But sadly, as best I can tell, that isn't possible. It's really fun, as you can see right here, using the Wandering Trader Egg, but not being able to find a cherry tree is an absolute disaster as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I think that this is a really, really bizarre oversight that I think would, you know, it seems like, again, this is why it's in the second category. Technically speaking, they could have a reason for not adding cherry grove, you know, trees to the trader. They want you to go out and explore them yourself, but then why would they add the mangrove propagules? Why can't I get a cherry sapling from the trader? This ruins my super flat. It's such a specific complaint, I know, but it ruins my super flat world. I can't even get the cherry wood because it's not something that you could get at all, and that is something that's just, it's a shame. But it does relate to villages. So villages have a really decent set of biomes that they can spawn in. Here they all are on screen right now. Technically speaking, the meadow and the plains have the same type of village, but I think when they added the cherry grove, it was a great opportunity to add a new type of village. It's a new wood type, which they could build new villages with, and wow, it turns out I've already done that. If they really wanted to steal someone's design, I know they wouldn't, but they could do much better than Mr. Toycat and the replace command. But consider that one of those biomes on the list just got rarer. The meadow biome is in some parts replaced with the cherry grove. The reason 1.19 seeds work in 1.20 is because the two seeds are exactly the same, but when it runs into a meadow biome, it's got a small chance of instead being a cherry grove. This means meadow biomes are less common, and honestly, it's mostly for the good of the game. Do you really need a meadow? Most of the time, no, but it means there is now a slightly lower probability of finding one of the villages. This could be fixed by just having villages generate in the cherry grove, something that they could have a whole new type of villager for, a whole new type of village for, but instead they just didn't bother touching it. The cherry grove biome is such a beautiful place. They put a lot of thought into the ambience of this. Seriously, look around this and tell me you're not in love with it. You don't want to immediately go here, but they didn't think about how it interacted with two other key features. Funnily enough, both of them are trading villagers. One is just a type that will sell you diamond armor, and the other's a type that can sell you overpriced sugarcane, but still, they're both traders that were ignored by the new biome type. This to me seems like an oversight. Again, I would love to hear a really great explanation as to why, but so far it just sounds like, yeah, they kind of forgot this. Speaking, you know, like they added a lot of new things for the cherry grove. They got every single thing that was incredibly obvious, but the slightly less obvious gameplay fixes have not been touched, and so maybe will be coming in the future, or maybe they'll explain it in the future. The only other thing that feels a little bit weird is that there is suspicious sand. You've probably seen it. It comes in desert well format. Isn't that fun? There's suspicious sand, there's suspicious gravel. These are both very interesting blocks in their own right. Is there suspicious gravel here? Yes, there is. There's suspicious sand and suspicious gravel, but there's no suspicious dirt or anything like that. I'm not going to say this is an oversight as much as it's just something that I think everyone assumed would be coming, especially when you look at a trail ruins. Wouldn't it make sense for there to be a way to, you know, get some of those blocks that are dirt to be turned into suspiciousness? Or maybe people would just be looking at dirt too long. Maybe having it be less than common blocks makes it something that's good in Minecraft's eye. But if you were expecting to find anything else you could brush besides, you know, like dirt and sand, you would build, sorry, besides gravel and sand, which, I mean, is gravel not just a type of dirt? Okay, I've covered myself. Look, I was technically right. I was just making a funny point about gravel. But yeah, I think more seriously, that suspicious dirt was something a lot of people were suspecting. In fact, people started suspecting suspicious stone and suspicious black stone or deep slate, and none of those things are coming. Instead, all you can expect is suspicious sand and gravel, which to some extent is a blessing alongside a curse. Okay, the third category is going to be my minor gripes, but one of these is one that I think the whole community has, because when people voted for the sniffer, which they did very overwhelmingly by the way, there was not really a fully fleshed out idea. There was just the idea that it would find multiple types of flower. However, when they said flowers, there was actually ambiguation, and Minecraft said after the fact they meant one type of flower you could find multiple times. This is technically flowers, even though it's free of the same, but then they later decided to, kind of accede to the community, and they gave us the pitcher plant. However, before the pitcher plant was ever revealed, Roger Badgerman had this leaked tweet, which, by the way, Mojang have now removed that tweet, but it's funny, it's because it's the removed tweet. If you just search Roger Badgerman removed tweet, it's the first thing that comes up, and you can find that there was not just going to be this weird pitcher plant, which, by the way, is super cool to see at stages, but there was also going to be a weird type of vine. That type of vine never made it into the final version of Minecraft, however, and that is a really weird thing by itself. But what's even weirder than the vines not making it is the fact that Mojang just kind of pretends like, yep, there was never something in development. It was never something that made it into proper development, into proper end snapshots, and I assume that's partially because more people probably would be upset if that was true. I mean, the number of people who are still upset about the name change from Grimstone to Deep Slate, the number of people who still think that, features from snapshots have to make it into the final release, means that all sorts of development features like that probably exist, but we don't have Roger Badgerman to find them for us, and that's an interesting thing to think about, because I think one of the things they should have immediately thought about, given that this is a wood update anyway, right? We have all of these new bamboo planks, we have all of these new cherry planks, we also have bamboo mosaics. The bamboo raft looks different, and they're changing the recipe for the boat in 1.20.10. They're gonna make it good finally. So I don't like the shovel. It's one of the few parity things that's just an objective improvement. It's like it's fixing the recipe that's been weird on Bedrock forever. But going back to the boat thing, given that they made this the wood update anyway, I think that they kind of missed a real key thing here. One of the things they could have done is given Azalea a wood type. I mean, wood is not that hard to program. It's quite hard to build the textures for, and I do think the texture artists are doing a great job. Imagine an Azalea set of wood that was green and looked like this. It'd be beautiful, but we don't have one of those, and that's kind of understandable. If they don't want to add a third type of wood to this update, they're gonna maybe save it for a future update. I could understand that, but something I think they should have done here when they added the raft to Minecraft. So right now, there's this funny thing. If you type boat, you won't find the bamboo boat. Instead, you have to type raft for the bamboo one, because it's not a boat, it's a raft. That's going to confuse some people at some point using creative, but it's fine. The raft looks entirely different to a boat as well, but here's the wacky thing. They have not given, there are two brand new items. This boat is exactly the same as every other boat in Minecraft, and this raft is exactly the same as every other boat in Minecraft. It just looks slightly different, which to me is a disappointment. Given that you use bamboo planks to craft it, why does it even look so different? If we look at these two blocks side by side, why would this create that and this would create that for any good reason besides, well, we wanted to make a different boat? To me, Minecraft is, Minecraft says the whole point of the vanilla game is that Minecraft developers are really good at working out what's actually worth adding and what's not. Mod developers can add 100 features, but they don't feel polished. Minecraft features are really nicely polished usually, but this raft is just a boat. You sit in the exact same place you would as if it was a boat, as you can see, like oddly far forwards. If I was on a raft, I would be, differently placed, but also you can't fit any bigger mobs on this. You might think to yourself, wow, it's a raft, so it has no sides to it. You could probably fit a horse on this perhaps, but no, they haven't taken advantage of any of the differences of the raft. It's just a boat, but yellow, and I have to question, like, why? And if you were gonna make it just visual differences, why not make all of the boats slightly visually different? The answer is I genuinely don't know how Minecraft works. It's a little bit of a bummer. It's a really cool update in so many ways, but the wood part of it feels like, yeah, they worked out they were popular, they added them, and then they didn't really take it any further, which is disappointing. Just like with the brush, I think this one is really reaching a little bit, but the brush could have had like other suspicious blocks to get. Sure, that's true, but I also think the brush only has 2 enchantments right now, plus the curse of, you look at those 3 enchantments side by side and you say, couldn't you have added a cool brand new option to that? Like, I think, for example, Silk Touch on the brush so you could bring that suspicious sand with you would be really interesting. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I think a brand new enchantment, I think allowing it to have efficiency so you could break things faster, you're a really efficient archaeologist, that would have been cool, but instead of cool, all we got was, I mean, again, I think enchanting it at all was great. I just also think, you could have done, I think there's a space that could have been done better here. Speaking of could have done better, what are all these baby sniffers doing here? There's got to be some explanation for this, just like how there could be some explanation for how you're not subscribed to the IBX Toycat YouTube channel. It's one of the greatest places to find out about new Minecraft updates, including the new upcoming one that's less than a month away, and as well as that, it's a wonderful way for you to play and see the weird things that I'm up to in Minecraft. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my 20 weird things you shouldn't have built in 1.20, and I hope that you have a great day, because I'll see you in the next one, okay? I'm still on a quest to get every 1.20 item. I'm immediately going to stop and get right back into that. It's been a crazy time, but I guess I have to do that whenever I rhyme. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.